Good evening. We're going to call the September 9th, 2025 City Council meeting to order. The invocation will be presented by Pam Owens, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be John Hannaback. Ms. Owens, if you want to come up to the microphone. Mr. Hannaback, be ready. If you'd stand with me, please.
Please bow your heads. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we acknowledge your presence and thank you for being a loving and merciful God. I ask that you bless this meeting, guide the City Council. Holy Spirit, guide them on all of their decisions. Bless every Villa Rica community member and official in attendance. Extend your peace and grace and blessings upon each family represented here tonight. And it's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join with me and the veterans who are here this evening in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They moved the flags around on this.
Do you want me to just, okay.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Thank you. I will read the bios for the two veterans we were honored to have the pledge and the invocation. Mr. John Hannaback is a combat veteran of the Korean War, serving in the U.S. Navy from 1950 to 1954. He is the founder of the Villa Rica Military Veterans Association. He served as president of the U.S. St. Paul Association for 4 years. John served on the Villa Rica Planning and Zoning Commission for 12 years and chairman for 4 years. And then if you will bear with me. I apologize. And Miss Owens, Pamela Owens, led us in the invocation. Pamela Owens, is a resident of Mirror Lake Community since 2017. Served as a regular Army officer in U.S. Army Chemical Corps and Medical Service Corps from May 1984 to April 1991. She served as contracting officer with U.S. Environmental Protection Agency until her retirement in 2024, and has been married for 41 years to retired veteran and has 2 adult children, a dog and a granddog.
Thank you, veterans, for being here tonight. I know we have something else coming up, but thank you for doing the pledge and the prayer for us this evening. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we're going to move into public comment time. There was a sign-up sheet out front as you came in, which will arrive up here momentarily. As you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record, and if you're a city resident, each individual will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those addressing the mayor and council may feel free to speak openly on the matter that you wish to bring to to our attention, but we do ask that you do so in a respectful manner, refraining from any uncivil discourse. As an elected body, we don't typically engage at that time in debate or question and answer. During public comments, this is your time. However, if your question or concern necessitates a response from the staff level, we'll try to link you up at the end of the meeting, or as long as your name and phone number is on here, link you up with a staff member so that you can get an answer or get your concern addressed. As your elected officials, we value the opportunity to hear from citizens and those who have a vested interest in our city. Mr. John Hannebeck.
John Hanneback, 3106 Golfers Way, Villa Rica, resident. I'm here tonight to again thank the administration, the council for their support of our veterans group in trying to obtain some land on which to construct a Villa Rica Veterans Memorial Park. I particularly want to recognize our interim city manager, Jennifer Holman, John Bain, and Rebecca Carter, as well as Kevin Drummond, for their support in our pushing this through and getting it as far as it has gotten so far. There's a lot more to come, and we recognize that. We are desperately trying to get some support from the IRS to obtain a veterans tax exemption, because we're going to need some money to develop this park. But we are in the process of planning now. Again, the first thing we had to get, though, was land. And so we appreciate the resolution that is to be presented tonight. We anticipate building a very good park to represent Villa Rica. We will not have any cannons. We will not have any tanks or any such artifacts in the park. Some of the veterans parks do have those. If you go up to Tallapoosa, for instance, that's an enormous setting. Ours will not be that way. We will have something that represents all branches of the service, and we hope that will be something that Villa Rica will be proud of. So I appreciate your support. I brought a number of veterans with us tonight to be here, and so again, thank you very much.
Mike Cummings.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm an attorney. I represent people in eminent domain and constitutional matters all over the state of Georgia. I've been doing it for 29 years. I've been asked to come and represent a group of people that I understand have been sorely underrepresented in front of your body, and I understand that there has been some controversy. I've seen some news stories. I have talked to 16 or 18 people. I've driven all around Cleghorn, Anderson Road, Mirror Lake Connector area. I've walked some of the property. I've looked at some plans. I believe that I will end up representing quite a few more people. So as a group, they have asked me to do a few things for them. I called the mayor today and left a message. I'm sure you were too busy to call me back, so no problem.
I left you a message.
Okay, you did?
We left messages.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. And I do say that's pretty amazing that a mayor gives out their cell phone number, so that's kind of cool. But I don't think I'll harass you too much. But feel free to call me. But I'm now going to represent these people, and I will give you a list of the persons so that you'll know exactly what parcel and in what address. But I'm here to try to accomplish a few things, and I wanted to lay those out for you, and also to invite whoever needs to talk to me to call me. I'm very accustomed to the eminent domain process, the constitutional process, how to stop it, how to handle it, and how to deal with it in court. I primarily litigate these cases. But I think the first thing that my clients want me to do, and I know this is not necessarily the forum, but is to see if we can stop this from happening in their neighborhood. If I can't stop it, then we'll fight it the best we can and try to get these people as much money as the law will allow them to get. In the meantime, I do understand that there have been some damages done to some people's property, and I'll be immediately sending out demand letters and follow that up with lawsuits for inverse condemnation if I do determine that there's been damage to people's land without payment. But anyway, I'm here to make sure that if you do exercise your power of eminent domain, that it's done properly and fairly, and that these people get just compensation. But I think I've honestly never seen a situation where a road just stops like that. I don't know how that came to be, but I would like to find out, and I would ask for the utmost transparency as I try to get fairness for my clients. Thank you.
We'll get you connected to the city attorney.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tanya Ross.
Hey, how are you? I'm Tanya Ross, 301 Anderson Road. I was up here last month. Is that better?
Yes,
I was up here last month and I was just stressing some concerns because most of the people on these properties are single mothers, people with disabilities, older people. And when I addressed the mold issues and everything up here, it's because I couldn't get an inspection out whenever I had issues. I paid an inspector to come out, and I just wanted to play for you what he said was in my apartment. And it affects what now?
Your brain, your liver, your kidneys, your heart, all your internal organs.
It's stachyomonas, right? It's black mold. The maintenance man come out, fixed the leak, cut it out, covered it up. I complained about the leak again. He came out, cut it out, went to Home Depot to pick up some parts, and I smelt something terrible, like I couldn't even stand it, coming out of this hole that he cut. And whenever I asked Mr. Chambers, hey, I don't want him to cover back up. We need this tested. He refused. I have receipts for everything that I say. I record most of everything because they lie so much. There's probably 10 or more people in here that's not from Anderson Home, but will tell you, and I'm not going to ask people to raise hands or nothing, but with the conditions that they're living in, with the mold and the water damage and everything. And these are single mothers with kids. Again, these are older people that really can't afford to have a mold inspector come out like I couldn't. But luckily I did, and I've got all the reports. And after that, luckily, he did move me in a hotel and over here and over there. But luckily, he did get me in another apartment too. But whenever I went in and inspected it myself, guess what? On a total different property, Nunley Homes. So technically, I'm in Anderson Homes apartment right now, but I'm in Nunley Homes that was, covered in mold. I had to stay in a hotel with 2 children, okay, 2 separate hotels because of how the rules works or something, I'm not really sure. But either way, these are the issues that I've been having to deal with because we couldn't get a voice, couldn't get anybody out. So this is the only way that we knew to even get somebody to respond because luckily, Brecca Carter, she actually did reach out to me, and I appreciate it because I felt completely unheard whenever I was up here. Whenever you said that really wasn't your concern to really deal with what I was saying, it was the money part and the build. Not that it wasn't your concern, but that was what y'all was most focused on. But these people live in the community that's right here in the mix of all this money being spent and going on, and they're having to send their kids in showers with shower shoes because rust in the tubs and stuff. Like, there should be a little bit more focused on that. Thank you.
Monica Taylor.
Good day, Judge and community. My name is Monica Taylor, and I am the great-great-granddaughter of Jeannie Dobbs Glanton and Robert Glanton, in which Jeannie Dobbs Glanton is named after Glanton Heinsman Elementary. I went and pulled her deeds from the county, and which she has always resided at 410 Macaulay Street, Villa Rica, Georgia. Well, on the mailbox at 410 Macaulay Street, we also have a lien on the property from someone named Chris Brown that has a lien such as a HVAC lien, and that property from Darden Street, which was my great-grandmother's property, Emmylou Taylor, it's no construction to where that property should have a HVAC lien or anything on that property. Also, at 410 Macaulay Street, we also have two addresses, which is 410 Macaulay Street, and also it was earlier in the year, maybe around March, April, it was 25, and now I just went by there and it's 125. So that specifies that someone in the community or whomever may be living and residing at 410 Macaulay Street could possibly be using that address as a duplex or another entity to maybe be, getting other income for 410. And the only thing that I know legally, a mailbox cannot have an address of two addresses, if I make any sense. And also with Mr. Chambers at Housing Authority, I'm very concerned is there as well, because I used to live in Nunley Homes in 28 from 2017 to 2019. I moved because he said that I owed him $14,000 in arrearage, in which he did not know that I was a certified CAM, and that is what I've done for 20 years. So he has me paying back now an arrearage that I do not owe. I've paid almost $3,000 of the $7,000 that he says that I owe, but no one can give me an explanation. And I also have on my ledger a credit of $20. So you cannot have a credit and owe an outstanding balance as well. So I'm just trying to come to the conclusion, how do I owe this outstanding balance here when my rent was never late, and I also...
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day.
Josh Evans? Mari Melendez?
Hello, Council. Mari Melendez, 113 Main Street, Villa Rica, Georgia. I am a resident here as well. I just wanted to address the one-way. I think you guys are voting on that tonight. I just wanted to kind of put my 2 cents in, being a business owner right here in the front. I think a one-way will make sense, but not right now. The reason being is we haven't had any accidents or anything happen during this time that we've had this paved to almost be a one-way without it being marked as a one-way. I just see there being an issue with there being a one-way right now and only being able to enter and exit in a certain direction because of traffic at the light or traffic buildup to enter or to enter this way or to exit this way. There's going to be a traffic buildup either way. I know once we make the plans and everything that Villa Rica has in the works, if it happens, it will make sense then. But right now, honestly, I just don't see that making any sense because of the trucks that we have unloading and the police officers and coming in and out. Like this weekend, over the past couple of days, we've had some incidents happen in Villa Rica, and then the police officers have to fly out. So it's just like if we have that one way and people don't move, almost, I guess you could say, it's going to become a problem. And like I said, right now it's not the best situation, but it's also not the worst. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there, just food for thought. It's not an invitation for people to go have an accident now because we haven't had any, but I just wanted to flow properly still. I think we do have bigger concerns that we need to address right now. The paving of this being a one-way, I think it's the least of our issues. I think, again, it just doesn't make sense right now. So just food for thought for you guys. Thank you.
And is it Bone, B-O-N-E? Is that correct? Okay.
I'm here to say thank you to everybody that's working to get a Veterans Memorial.
Will you pull that microphone down just a little bit? And I've been a little negligent this evening on trying to make sure
And-
people give their name and address.
And
I
Bone,
bel-
50 Whitworth Road,
Yes, ma'am.
Little Rica.
Thank you.
All the police officers know where that is.
I hope that's for a good
That's
reason.
where the shootout was,
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
right out my door. But I want to thank everybody and encourage you guys to get behind this. I'm going to call just a few names in my family. R.W. Garrett, H.W. Garrett, brothers, World War I Marines. Earl Graben, Doris Graben, brothers, World War II. Ted Graben, my brother, during the Vietnam War. Perry Bone, Max Bone, Harris Bone, and unfortunately, Tim Bone, who gave his life in his service. They were all brothers. My father-in-law, Hugh Bone. My first cousins, Eugene Wallace, Jimmy Wallace, Max Wallace, Randy Wallace, Dwight Wallace, all brothers who served. Mine and Valerie's classmate, Bob Powell, who was called Truck Powell because the first day of school in the first grade, his notebook had an army truck on the front of it. So, and last, my sweet husband of almost 61 years, Jimmy Bone. Who is the great-grandson of Pleasant Holt, the Holt Bishop Justice Center where we sit. So I hope you'll all make this a good project for all of us and something that we can be proud of. And again, just thank every one of you. And thank you guys for what you did for me at 50 Whitworth Road.
Thank you, ma'am. Doug Lang. Doug Lang. Okay, we'll move into council updates. Oh, wait a second, right? Captain Lujan, would you come up and give an update on the shooting? Then we'll move into council updates.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Stephen Lujan, Captain of the Police Department. On behalf of Chief Mansour and the Police Department, we wanted to provide you all and the citizens an update on the incident that took place at Zaxby's last night. So on September 8th, 2025 at 8:15 p.m., officers responded to the Zaxby's at 200 Cooley Way in reference to shots fired. Once officers responded, the investigation determined this was not a random act and the shooter was targeting an individual subject who was in line to pick up food. Neither the shooter or the target of the shooting were on scene when officers arrived. A total of 4 shots were fired in the incident. No one was hit in the shooting and no injuries were reported. During the course of the investigation, a lookout was placed on a suspect vehicle, which later was pulled over at Brookside Cupboard at the intersection of Highway 101 and Lake Paradise Drive. The driver, Amanda Williams, 39 of Villa Rica, was detained and taken to the police department for questioning. During the interview, she identified the 16-year-old shooter and advised she drove him to the Zaxby's to confront a victim due to an ongoing dispute. She advised after she heard gunshots, she saw the suspect run off and she later picked him up and took him home. Later on, the investigation determined that the 16-year-old shooter was at a residence just outside the city, so we joined in a joint operation with Carroll County Sheriff's Office to apprehend the subject without incident, thank goodness. The 16-year-old was charged as an adult, 11 counts of aggravated assault felony, 6 counts of cruelty to children, third-degree misdemeanor, 1 count of reckless conduct, misdemeanor, possession of a firearm during the commission of certain crimes, felony, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, felony. Amanda Williams, the driver of the vehicle, was charged with 3 counts of party to a crime of aggravated assault, felony, 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, felony, and reckless conduct, misdemeanor. This is also continues to be an ongoing investigation. More charges could be coming as we develop further leads and conduct interviews. So we just wanted to give you guys an update. We thank Carroll County Sheriff's Office and their help in apprehending the subject. Great job by Villa Rica officers of the night shift, diligently working to apprehend the subject as well. We are thankful that nobody was hurt. Obviously, this could have been a much worse situation, but we wanted to give you guys an update on where we're at. So more to come maybe, but like I said, we have the shooter in custody.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Captain Lujan. Really glad that someone wasn't hurt. That's pretty scary. Council updates. Yes, Councilman McCoy.
Mine is simple. Mirror Lake is having their, is it semi-annual and it's every 6 months? Yeah, it's the semi-annual yard sale. This is our fall one. It is September 20th. There have been signs all over, but if you live in Mirror Lake, I suggest contacting the HOA and getting on the list for it. And if you don't, like, we would love to have, I'm sure our residents who are trying to get rid of stuff would love to have you come by and look. So by all means, I just wanted to let everybody know. At least some good news.
Anything else from council? All right, mayor update is brief. There had been some questions brought up in regard to the public housing, which is a federal program. While we appoint the board, we don't actually run it as a council. So the report I got back, because I inquired because there had been questions and concerns, they said loans to Walton Trail for Phase 1 and 2 did not come from any funds dedicated to Anderson, Auburn, or Nunley homes. Each Villa Rica Housing Authority property has replacement reserve for work on units. These funds are not interchangeable. The Housing Authority gets a development fee from LIHTC, which is low-income housing tax credit, like Walton Developments. The Old Town replacement funds and developers make up the loans to the Walton Developments. No Housing Authority money is used in these loans. I hope this at least answers some of the questions that were asked in a previous meeting. Villa Rica Housing Authority transferred from HUD office to public housing to HUD office of multifamily housing. We have what's called a PBRA. It's a project-based rental assistance. It's a contract for all the properties. Since we are a small housing authority, we are exempt from the choice mobility option that allows tenants to receive a voucher after 2 years in RAD. Tenants of Old Town homes that were relocated, remember when that was all torn down and Walton was built? When that construction for Phase 1 and 2 argued, so the tenants that were displaced were guaranteed to become tenants of Walton 1 and 2. Tenants of Anderson, Auburn, and Nunley have priority to apply for a residency and be on the list, but Walton does the vetting. The Housing Authority does not do the vetting, so background checks and everything else is done through Walton. In regards to mold issues, the Housing Authority first sends maintenance for a moisture test and then contacts mold and water damage consultants to come out. So we have limited knowledge about how the Housing Authority runs because we deal mainly with the city ordinances. So I got this report, but if you need more details, I would recommend you go directly to the Housing Authority. The program has changed over the years. It's a federal program, and so the rules, the laws, the accountability for the Housing Authority goes to the federal government. All right, we'll move to consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda encompass things that would normally be approved with little comment. These were things that were discussed during our work session last Tuesday and was the unanimous consent of the governing body to place the following items on the consent agenda. Item number 1 is the award to West Industrial Court Culvert Project to Blount Construction Company, Inc. And number 2 is the FY25 budget amendments, numbers 174 through 180. Governing body, item A.
Wait a minute, I'll move to
Oh,
adopt.
I'm sorry. Yes.
I'll move to adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Thank
That is
you.
unanimous.
All right. A, governing body, Veterans Park resolution. These have a lot of whereases, but what we're doing tonight is vital and important on the different resolutions and proclamation that we will recognize this evening. Whereas the freedoms and liberties enjoyed by the citizens of the city of Villa Rica and the United States of America have been preserved through the courage, dedication, and sacrifice of the men and women who have served in the armed forces. And whereas countless veterans have selflessly placed service above self, endured hardships, and making sacrifices in defense of our nation's values and security. And whereas the city of Villa Rica recognizes that the peace and prosperity we enjoy today are the direct result of the unwavering commitment of those who chose to serve in the United States Armed Forces. And whereas it is fitting and proper for the city of Villa Rica to establish a lasting tribute to honor veterans of all branches of service and to provide a place of reflection, remembrance, and gratitude for current and future generations, and whereas the mayor and council of the city of Villa Rica desire to dedicate a public space to serve as a Veterans Memorial Park, symbolizing the city's enduring appreciation for the sacrifices of our nation's heroes. Now therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Villa Rica, Georgia, as follows. Number 1, that a Veterans Memorial Park is hereby established within the city of Villa Rica, Georgia, to be located as shown in Exhibit A attached hereto, to be maintained as a place of honor, remembrance, and reflection. And 2, that the park shall serve as a tribute to all veterans of the United States Armed Forces, recognizing their courage, loyalty, and sacrifice in defense of liberty. 3, that the city of Villa Rica extends its deepest gratitude to all who have served and to their families, acknowledging that our freedoms have been secured through their sacrifice. 4, that the city shall enter into an agreement with its local veterans to allow the establishment of appropriate monuments, markers, and/or educational features within a Veterans Memorial Park to preserve the memory of those who served and to inspire future generations. Would the veterans that are here for this resolution come forward, please? As they're coming, I will entertain a motion by the council
I will
on the
move,
resolution?
yeah, I'll move to adopt a resolution establishing the Veterans Memorial Park.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor? Thank you very much.
That is unanimous.
Slide on down. Hey, how are you, sir?
Don't sit down. Can we do this? Can we get everybody in? Do you want to move them up more center?
Yes, if
Okay.
y'all would mind moving.
This is gonna be fun. I don't know if people like to get on their knees or, I'm sure.
Bring it on around.
Okay, if y'all can get all the way down to this end.
I know y'all are razzing one another between the Navy, the Marines, the Army.
The Air Force will always win.
Oh.
I got it in, didn't I?
Yeah, we got a few in our family and they go after one another.
Just like in elementary school. Tall people in the back.
You started all this trouble.
Okay, you want to be in?
Yeah, but John needs to be center, so I'll start in. There. Are we good?
I think so. Stacy,
John's,
Okay, y'all smile.
proclamation.
will you put that microphone down for me, please? I was going to lose my arms. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll do my best to get one out. Is there the second one in there?
Yeah, it's two. No, I got it.
Okay.
Now, y'all are welcome to stay, but it's not required. But thank you. What a great turnout this evening. Okay, item number 2 is the commemoration of the new road resolution for Lewis Harris Drive. And Councilman Marchman is going to read that resolution. Got that mic nice
I'm
and
with
close?
her with these whereas, but anyway, it's just important that we do this to honor one of our former residents in the city. Whereas the city of Villa Rica
Hang on a second, yeah.
Okay. Whereas the city of Villa Rica, along with the mayor and council, recognizes the importance of commemorating significant historical, cultural, and community contributions through the naming of public infrastructure. And whereas the city of Villa Rica approved the new proposal street on June 11th, 2024, connecting South Street to Commerce Drive. And whereas Carroll County constructed a fire station at the corner of South Street and US Highway 78, and the proposed street allows an additional ingress and egress for the fire apparatus. And whereas the new proposed street name reflects the various heritage or notable achievements that align with the city's identity and vision. And whereas the mayor and council has chosen to designate the proposed street to Lewis Harris Drive. Lewis Harris was one of our unsung heroes of the day. Lewis worked with Horace Luther, the superintendent of the Water and Sewer Authority. Lewis was on the scene immediately after the gas explosion occurred on December 5th, 1957. This local man worked to pull several people out of the burning buildings. When he saw that someone had put their foot through the debris, he pulled them out by grabbing onto their leg despite danger to himself. He became a local hero because of how long he stayed at the scene and how long he worked. Lewis is credited in stopping the gas flow from the power station to Villa Rica after the explosion. He put so much brave effort into saving others that he stayed until late to help clear the debris and hauled it to 2 sites where it was dumped. After working for the city's water department, Lewis served as fireman and then was the first black policeman in Villa Rica Water Department. Lewis served as fireman and then the first black policeman in Villa Rica. While working in the fire department, Lewis lost several fingers and because of this disability, he could no longer work part-time for the city and did so until he retired. Therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and council for the city of Villa Rica that the proposed street that connects South Street to Commerce Drive and shown in Exhibit A be now named Lewis Harris Drive to honor its significance and inspire future generations this 9th day of September 2025. Leslie E. McPherson, Mayor. This is the resolution.
Thank you, Councilman Marchman. I'll entertain a motion to,
Is there any of the family here this evening? I
because if
think I
there
saw
is, we want
one,
to do a
but-
picture.
Okay,
So.
let me move to adopt the resolution and name the road Lewis Harris Drive.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank
That
you,
is
Council.
unanimous.
Do we have family? We could, the fire chief
only
is
the
here.
fire chief. Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Ooh, not really, but.
This is the street that runs between Chick-fil-A and Racetrack. So, you know, originally it was kind of like the parking lot. It didn't extend through. The county helped us with doing that road and did it for a cost, I believe, for us, so that we could extend it through all the way to South Street behind the fire department. It seemed fitting to take this local hero from that time and name a street that goes right behind the new fire station after him. So it's a privilege to be able to do this. Here, you want to put this.
Let me have that one that doesn't have it. Let me
Does that
have
work?
that one.
No, you've heard of it. You've heard.
Just that you, that, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you.
And put this one in. Okay, got it.
It has the signature.
Oh. That's yours. Got it.
Yeah, you want to take this one with you? Yes. I have the, wait.
Item 3, one-way traffic on Temple Street. Oh. It's in a different place. It's item 8 on my, something's getting changed on the agendas and it's not getting changed on the one on the website.
I think it's, cause I think it's on, that's what's pulled from right there.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Well-
Number 3 proclamation
let's see.
of
But not here, it's not. So, from the city website.
That's, the website's right behind you.
I have,
I know, but,
that's okay.
I reloaded it today whenever I got the proclamation on there, and so I think that.
So then it moved?
Yes, so it's just, it's a technical.
I thought it was odd that it was down so far away from the others.
So that's how that happened.
Okay, all right, well, good, thank you. That means all my others are going to be out of order. I'll try to change them as I go along. All right. So this is, I told you we had important resolutions and proclamations. This one was presented by one of our citizens because we do have a number of people in Villa Rica. I know several of the women that belong to Daughters of the American Revolution, and they wanted to make sure that we recognized Constitution Week. Whereas it's the privilege and duty of American people to commemorate the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuance of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Leslie McPherson, Mayor of the City of Villa Rica, Georgia, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23 as Constitution Week in Villa Rica and urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. I'll entertain a motion to,
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution, a proclamation, actually.
Second.
Naming September the 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week.
Second.
motion second, all in favor? Thank you.
That is unanimous.
All right. Item 4, One-Way Street, Temple Street, Mr. Teal.
Mayor, council members. So yes, ma'am, it was brought to my attention from Councilmember Montmahan and Mayor McPherson about changing, since we resurfaced the street, if we were going to do any changes, now would be the time, changing Main Street and Temple Street, right there adjacent to the buildings on, well, adjacent to this building out front, to one-way. So currently the way, it's really tight. I did measure it. There is enough room to get two-way, two 10-foot lanes. But it is a little bit tight down about halfway, which the pros for that, for the two-way is, you know, that adds some natural traffic calming to keep speeds down. I think the speeds might increase just a little bit. That'd be my opinion. I don't know that for sure. But if we were going to change it, now would be the time to change it. I did confirm with the police chief on the direction, which would be northwest, like the arrow shows on the maps. Those would be arrows we would install, and the Magnum Paving's currently waiting on a go-ahead to stripe the street and Church Street.
Yeah, I wasn't really taking a position as much as it got brought up several weeks ago, and it actually
Yes,
had been
ma'am.
brought up years ago, and it had been the will of the council at that time to make it a one-way, but for whatever reason, it did not occur. So since it was getting repaved, if any changes were going to be made, now was the time to discuss it before the striping was done. So questions from council? Yes, Councilman Warmoth.
So on the concept, on the downtown streetscape concept for 2025,
Yes, ma'am.
this actually shows that the that the parking spaces are going the direction that they're currently going.
Yes, ma'am. And it's,
I don't know
and
if
it's
I'm-
two-way.
Right. But now it's being proposed that it would go the opposite way, correct?
Not for the streetscape. This doesn't change the streetscape. This would just be now. Now, that could change. That's up to the mayor and council, but the concept on the streetscape that's what the concept is there.
The concept for the streetscape is to go, and I'm sorry, you said that this was northwest?
Yeah.
And this,
sort
I
of.
mean, I know this is west,
Sort of
but
west.
east. Okay, so,
That way.
but currently, right, which is west.
Yeah.
So we're proposing for it to go we're proposing for it to go west, but it's currently going east.
It's currently both ways.
Well, I understand. I'm talking about the parking spots, though.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to propose, what you're proposing is for them to be flipped the other way, correct? And then
Yes,
make it
ma'am.
one
If
way?
the traffic's going that way, then the parking spaces need to be angled the opposite way.
Right. Why did
If
we,
not, you'd have to back into them.
why did we decide to go west on this instead of going east on the concept
Yeah,
plan?
so my conversations with the police chief was this intersection out here, it backs up. It's hard to get out. You notice how traffic backs up when the light's red? It backs up to around the curve. So if you're trying to pull out on to 61, which is currently 61, it's tough to pull out and go across 78 or across the railroad tracks. So if it goes out down this end, there's less congestion and easier to get out. Now, the police vehicles can go either way. They can go either way they want to go.
Does that align with the concept plan, though? I guess that's the reason that I brought that up initially.
No, ma'am, it does not.
So it does not go with the concept
No,
plan?
ma'am. The parking spaces are opposite. The concept plan for the streetscape is two-way. The only thing that's the same are the parallel spots on this side, adjacent to the buildings.
Okay.
So my question.
Councilman
is,
Marchman.
what's the purpose of a one-way? I mean, I've had a lot of people that's against the one-way, so explain why you going from two lanes to one-way.
Well, it was brought to my attention that it's really tight, and it is really tight. It's very narrow, especially when you get down about halfway. But we could remove a couple parking spaces to give more room right there. But I did measure it. It's 56 feet. It only takes 50. Actually, it could be less. That's a 10-foot parallel, two 10-foot lanes, and then 20-foot parking spot, which is perpendicular to the curb.
Mm-hmm. I noticed coming this way on the main street out there. Those big trucks be parked there, and it is tight.
Yes,
going
ma'am.
up down through there. So I was just wondering what was the exact reason for doing that? Because going, like I said, going from the light going straight up to town, you almost hit a truck. And I know now, since my cars, I got a big old truck, and I know it would be sticking out, so I just don't even do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the reason it was brought up is because of the recent paving and because the council years ago had said they wanted one way, and the big issue is getting vehicles past one another. You cannot get two good-sized vehicles going opposite directions. Now, the parklets are supposed to go back out there. The restaurant, there's going to be two different restaurant parklets. They go where the parallel parking is.
Yes, ma'am. One's already there, and I've contacted.
It's already out?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't even look down
It's
there
already
when I
out
came
there.
in. Okay.
It's finished, isn't it, Tracy? Yeah.
Oh, y'all didn't
it's
waste any
pretty much
time.
finished.
Good, okay.
And yeah, I have talked to Gabe's. I think they were going to install one. They haven't called me back. We'll be meeting with them to
Councilman
make sure that
Monahan.
they don't infringe on the roadway.
Yeah, this is even before my time on council, and maybe right when I joined council, I think the discussion was to make it a one-way because the parklets were installed. I think one of the questions that I recall at the time were, well, which way do we go? And I think we, again, at that time, tried to defer to the chief and what his preference was for his officers. And then kind of fell by the wayside, but now it's been repaved. So I've heard people tell me it should be one way because it's very tight, and when you include the parklets, it's going to be very narrow and tight. I've heard people, people tell me that they really don't want it to be, they want it to be two-way. I don't really, again, kind of like the mayor, I really don't have a preference one way or the other, but since this is the time, since it's just got paved, that's why and if we're going through this process, that's why I brought it up. I understand that the streetscape ultimately requires it to, or not requires it, but ultimately the streetscape, the plan for within streetscape improvements is to make it two-way again and then reverse it all. But my understanding is that construction on that may not start until 2028. So we have
Yes, sir.
2.5 to 3 years before that's going to happen. So, which it'll all be probably repaved and restriped again anyway. So we're not really doing duplicate work, are we, Mark?
No,
We're
sir.
doing this now. So
And the parklets, they're 10 feet from the inside back of curb, which would be the face of the curb on the sidewalk side. So they're only sticking out about 9 feet. The parallel parking spaces are 10. So they don't stick out as far as the parking spaces, but no, it does stick out. The parklets do.
So, yeah, so that's why when you hear, I would like to hear some input from y'all if y'all have anything, but I could see it going either way. That's where I'm at.
I got one
Councilman
more question.
Marksman.
Okay, so am I listening? Am I hearing this correct? You're gonna do it a one way now, then down the road you're gonna make it back two way. Is that what you say?
Currently, as of now, that's the plan. Now, that could change, but yes, that's the plan.
So what?
The streetscape calls for two-way traffic.
That's a whole redesign, though. It's not just changing this whole area. That street up there doesn't exist anymore with the streetscape
Yes,
plan.
ma'am.
Main Street disappears. There is a green, there is a step up, there's a pavilion if we do the pavilion. This entire area will be redesigned, and Main Street will actually pivot down into Temple Street, but you have to remember, the bypass is going to be done. That won't belong to the state anymore. Main Street will be Villa Rica Street. The bypass is supposed to be done before the end of the year. I know it's supposed to get done sooner, but it's GDOT. So, I saw a hand. Councilman Warmoth.
My only concern is that it doesn't align with the streetscape concept plan. Sorry. That is where my concern is right now, because the plans are put in place for a reason. And I don't know how much, I'm not faulting you, but I don't know how much thought is put into making the change to have it go the opposite way and make it one way. Especially if we're talking about making it a two-way again later on. None of that makes sense to me. I'm not opposed, and let me be very clear, I am not opposed to it being a one-way. I do believe it needs to be a one-way. Because it is very tight with two cars going through there, especially with the parklets.
It is, which is a natural traffic calming.
It is.
It does slow people down. They go really slow.
But the concern that I have is that it doesn't align with that concept plan. And again, we have those plans in place for a reason. And when we're talking about flipping, let's see, if we're flipping, going west instead of east, how does that affect the downtown area? Is that something that's been looked into? I understand that, Chief has mentioned that traffic-wise, he feels like it would be best to go west instead of east, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But have we looked into how that would actually impact the downtown area right here?
No, ma'am, we do not know.
Yeah. So.
Years ago, it was discussed a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's just come back up. Councilman
But
Carter,
but I'm sorry, I never realized that we talked about flipping traffic to go, I keep doing this, to go west instead of east.
You mean
I
the
believe
parking
that's
space, yeah.
accurate. I don't think it
Because
was
this is-
ever decided. It was all discussed way back then, but it was never really put in stone to say, this is the direction we're going to take.
Yeah, I don't recall it ever being that we were going to have it go west. And I would want to know what the impact of the downtown area would be if we were to flip it like
Well, if you're
that.
gonna pick a direction, west is the better choice.
For the police department.
And in my opinion.
But there's not any sort of, wouldn't we need some sort of traffic study or something to that nature before making that decision on how it would impact?
Well, based on my experience, it's obvious that it's better to go west because of this intersection out here.
Well, I
It'd
mean,
be
we can
really
talk,
tough
we
to-
can talk about opinions because
I know.
my opinion is that we're better off going east because everybody travels east coming down this road. Very rarely do people come west on that road. So my opinion, if we're talking about opinions, would be that we're better to go east because that's how everybody's traveling currently. But I would want to know what the impact on the downtown businesses would be if we're going to flip it. Again, I'm all about making it a one-way, but I would want to know where that impact is before committing to making that switch.
Just to clarify, the reason most of us would be going east is because unless you're in a tiny car, it's all angled that way. So it's not user-friendly to come this way to park because the parking's all angled toward the east.
Well, yeah, if we go west, the parking would be switched. It'd be angled the other way.
Which would encourage
But
that
people
car
still
coming
do
from that
obviously go both ways, some because we're going around one. That's my hang up. My hang up is we can't get past one another on some of them, but it's not set in stone.
But again, if we're making this a one-way to go west, look, I finally got it right, to go west, then you're gonna have a traffic jam right here, at the red light. I'm sorry, total. You're gonna have with people trying to turn left to
Left.
come down. So that's why I'm saying I would want to know what the impact would be with the traffic study and as well as on the businesses. Because if we're talking about traffic jams right out here at the intersection that's an issue, then we're creating a whole other problem. Again, why a concept plan is in place without us looking deeper into changing that concept plan, I'm not willing to commit to that.
I'm not a traffic engineer. I've just tried to visualize it because I knew if they were up on Main Street and wanted to cross over traffic, they could back up. But if you're coming down here, if you're coming down on Temple Street, right in front of this building, it wouldn't make sense to be coming this direction to cut this way. You would turn in down at the other corner.
The problem
And-
is getting out,
But
if that's
if
the
it's,
case.
but that's assuming if the traffic is angled to go that way, I can only see circling around on Church Street and coming, like, you find no parking spaces, maybe you come down Church Street and you come back around. There's, and it will, can you explain one thing, though? This question. How does it, when the streetscape gets done and the whole area gets redesigned, what is it different? What changes down here that's going to make it so that you can pass one another?
So, part of it is people not pulling all the way to the curb. And I just measured one section of the street, but right now it's 56 feet wide. So what they have planned is 10 feet for parallel parking, two 10-foot lanes, that's 30, plus 20 feet for the 60-degree angle parking, so that's 50. So that's 50 feet. And that could even be, it's 56 currently right now. That could even be widened with the streetscape construction.
So we won't have that. I was just trying to figure out what was going to
Yes, ma'am.
differentiate
If people
between.
don't pull all the way, vehicles don't pull all the way to the curb in the middle, then yes, it creates problems, especially big trucks.
Okay, all right. Councilman McCoy.
This might be oversimplifying it, and I know I use that word a lot, but okay, if we go east towards the mill, couldn't we just make that thing right there a do not enter? Because if you're going to go down this road anyway, you're just looking for parking. And if you can't find parking, you're just going to circle around, you're gonna circle around the back or turn around, could we just not make it go east and then do a do not enter, so that kind of clears off that
Whichever way
intersection?
we end up going with, we will, and if it's one way, we will have do not enter at one end or the other, the correct end.
Okay, but
Right.
I'm just saying, because when you get, because I come from when I come down here, I come from the east, and like the way I understand what the chief is trying to say, but the way your brain the way the traffic is done, which kind of routes your brain, is to go down, turn, and come back up. The kind of way it is, and then also something I was thinking about in all the discussions, and I may be overthinking it too, is that, okay, now everybody's used to going, I'm used to going that way, so I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to retrain.
that's because that gives you the most chance of getting a parking space. You go down that 61, then you go down the other, you go down Main Street.
Right, but then we're gonna change it here. Let's say we change it to go west toward Happy Valley. And when we do that, then 2028 comes around, the streetscape plan comes around, we do that, we're changing it back to something else. So that's a lot of changes in a short amount of time that
Yes, ma'am.
people are gonna get confused about, I think. So I guess my question is, why can't we just kind of leave it like it is?
You can.
Okay.
Can you tell this was not on the work session? That's why it's being discussed tonight. So, and there's a lot more questions.
I had a question. Oh, well, I mean, this is kind of this is actually talking about the streetscape, but if you extended the right of way by 4 additional feet, you could do 12-foot lanes, which I think is what the standard is in a neighborhood, right, Mark?
Yes, sir, it is.
So, I mean, that's actually a pretty good idea, but that's a different, I mean, again, if we just leave the status quo and just keep working with it, obviously it's not, it's not a major issue. People are content with it, but you would get a lot of confusion. A lot of people get back and say, oh, I thought this was, especially when the parklets were in there, they said, I thought this was a one-way already. They thought it was a one-way. I mean, so if we keep it a two-way, are there going to be arrows showing that it's a two-way?
We can install arrows, yes.
Or at least
There'll be a center line,
center
definitely.
line? Okay.
And,
I think
but
the center
yes,
line
we can
probably
put
would do
arrows
it.
it wouldn't take a lot to put them
Yeah.
at both ends, but yes, I mean, first time I went down it, I didn't know if it was one way or not. And the police
Right.
station's right there, so I thought, well, they're coming.
Okay.
You can't tell.
No, you can't. It's hard to
At
tell.
the very least, if nothing comes out of this other than better markings, so
Yeah,
people
we can do
tell.
that.
Yeah.
That's very simple.
Any other questions or comments from council?
Doesn't sound like we've really come to an agreement on this thing. Sound like we need to put off this particular vote item. Give us more time to discuss it.
Well, I think, though, the issue is that he's got the contractor mobilizing and waiting on us.
That's what I was going to ask.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they were going to strike last Friday, and I held them off until after this meeting.
Well, the striping is going to determine which direction they angle the cars, so
Yes, sir.
if we keep the angles the way they are now, we still can have two-way, right? Just like
Yes,
we
sir.
have before.
Yes, sir.
So there's no reason to make it a one-way at this time.
That's up to the mayor and council, or the council, mayor and council.
I do remember my question now, if I may. Going back to the streetscape, and I mean, what would be the feasibility of making that one way, since that would be the main thoroughfare now? So it doesn't seem like making it one way would
Well,
be feasible.
the current plan on the
streetscape.
concept, so after the north bypass is finished, 61 goes away as a state route. So the plan of the concept was to remove Highway 61 between Temple Street and the railroad tracks, and that's where we create I think it was called the Great Lawn or whatever it was called. That's where, the downtown activity area would be, the park. And if that's the case, then it would have to be two-way. Because that'd be the only way, unless you made Church Street the main thoroughfare, the main street.
Gotcha.
So we need to make a decision this evening. Is that because we're holding
If
up the
possible, yes,
striping?
ma'am.
They were going to do it. They held off so that we could decide if we wanted to follow what had been the will of the council some years ago and the issue with cars going opposite directions, getting by one another. Now was the time to do it before they striped.
Yep. Normally, Georgia DOT recommends you wait 7 to 21 days. So yeah, it's already been about 2 weeks, and if we push it off, then we'll be waiting another month.
Yeah,
Me personally, I think we leave the striping, put the striping back on the way it is, since we're later going to have a two-way street anyway, and a lot of this is going to go away, so I don't think we need to make a one-way out of it.
I think we're resolved. We take no action on that. That's the consensus, yes? Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Item number 5, approval of the minutes from the August 5, 2025 work session and August 12 council meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Unanimous.
Item 6, approval of the millage rate and public hearing minutes from August 19. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Unanimous.
Item number 7, this is approval of the millage rate and public hearing number 2 minutes from August 19. That was the 6 p.m. The last one was at the 10 a.m. This was the 6 p.m. public hearing.
I make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Unanimous.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 8, approval of the millage rate and public hearing number 3 and adoption, budget workshop and public hearing minutes from August 26.
I make
Entertain a motion.
make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Unanimous.
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. We have one abstention. All right. This is where I had Constitution on my agenda that I printed out, so we'll have to get together and figure out why that happens. All right, we are in item B, community development. I was about to say, wait a second, I have Miss Carter on mine, and you are not Brecca Carter, Sean.
I'll fill in for this part of today. Good evening, everyone. Hi.
Did you already oh, you're doing it, thank you.
I'll be doing the community development zoning cases this evening. I am Sean Myers, Planning and Zoning Administrator. So first, we have a variance request at 65 McCurdy. And before we invite the applicant forward, I'll give a presentation and present staff's recommendation. So we have Miss Almonte at 65 McCurdy requesting a variance to reduce the minimum lot frontage requirement. The lot was previously subdivided and has no lot frontage. All right. So the lot was previously subdivided, currently has no frontage along McCurdy, and is accessed by a gravel driveway. Section 4.06 requires a minimum lot frontage for residential lots of 50 feet. This lot currently has a frontage by way of a gravel driveway of 12.5 feet. And the variance request is to reduce that requirement from 50 to 12.5. And if you inspect the visual here, it kind of gives us a clear representation of where the lot is situated and how it's accessed via the dogleg to the north. So both the subject lot, which is highlighted subject lot, and the lot to the north are outlined in yellow. They're both owned by the applicant. The subject lot is undeveloped, and there's a home on all of the 3 other lots in this quadrant of lots, if you will. And
Sean.
the two lots to the rear, Miss Almonte's lots,
Use your mic.
forgive me. All right, and the lots to the rear, Miss Almonte's lots, are accessed via a gravel driveway that goes through that dog leg. The applicant proposes to develop a ranch-style single-family home and proposes shared access to that lot as well as the other lot in the rear via the gravel driveway. This visual gives a representation that outlines where the gravel driveway currently exists and also shows the footprint for the new proposed home at 65 McCurdy. And this aerial clearly tells the story. We have the undeveloped lot outlined, the gravel drive is shown, and it goes through two other lots before getting to the subject lot. We do have a signed agreement allowing that egress access easement through the lot that fronts McCurdy, owned by Mr. Carden. We analyzed the request against the variance request criteria, and we expect that this proposed new home will have no negative impact to public health or safety. We expect no adverse impact to the nearby properties, and the practical difficulty faced by the applicant is that should we enforce strict adherence to the code, then that lot at 65 McCurdy would not be developable because it doesn't front a right-of-way. And this condition existed prior to the applicant acquiring this lot. The variance request, the need for the variance rather, is not self-imposed. So staff recommends approval, and we propose three conditions: that the applicant maintain a 12-foot wide, a minimum of 12 feet wide for the gravel driveway to ensure emergency access, to record and preserve the shared access via an ingress or an egress easement through that gravel drive, and also that they comply with all the applicable building, fire safety, and zoning codes. When presented to the applicant was agreeable to these stipulations. And if there are no questions at this time, I'll invite Miss Maria Almonte to come forward.
Any questions from council? I'm sorry, there. Any questions from council for Mr. Myers? Yes, Councilman Momtahan.
Okay, Sean. So just so I understand correctly, the easement is existing out there?
There is an existing easement on one lot, but what is currently being proposed for this new home is access through the gravel driveway. And
Okay.
we are insisting that before any building permits are issued, that new easement must be recorded through the gravel driveway. So the easement that we need to develop the lot isn't existing. It's proposed, but would need to be deeded and recorded prior to any building permits being issued.
So would the stipulation then require a minimum of 12 and a half feet, or it must be 12 and a half feet?
Well, the easement proposes 20 feet, but the
Okay.
conditions currently is that at street frontage, that access point is 12 and a half feet wide. So
Okay.
we are crafting the minimum variance required based on existing conditions. Once the proposed 20-foot easement is recorded, then the easement would be a 20-foot easement. But based on existing conditions, 12.5 is what we have to work with.
Okay, so just so the existing gravel drive, can maybe,
Yeah.
Teresa, if you could, like, yes, okay. So where it says existing gravel drive, that is 12 and a half
It
feet?
varies in width, as you can see, but at street frontage, it's 12 and a half feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the city's just going to require at least 12 and a half feet. They could do 20 there if they needed to.
Most certainly.
And let me explain why. And I don't have everything that I would normally have in front of me as far as like the statutes and stuff. But my understanding is that in Georgia, private drives have to be at least 20 feet under the private drive statutes. But I don't have that And that's my concern, is that if for some reason there's a state law out there that requires them to go to 20 feet, would they be in violation of this stipulation? And that's my concern, I think.
They would not. So our code mandates a minimum width of 50 feet.
Okay.
We're saying you are allowed to do a minimum width of 12 and a half feet.
Okay.
And our approval would not create a conflict when they go to the courthouse if the courthouse says your minimum easement in Georgia must be 20 feet.
Okay.
And if it brings you any comfort, we do have a proposed easement of 20 feet shown. It's not
Okay.
in the presentation here, but it is in your case documents. But it's not yet recorded.
Okay.
That shows a 20-foot wide easement through the gravel drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. I think that was kind of my thing. I just want to make sure that if it was basically, it could be no less than 12 and a half feet, essentially is what the variance is, or the stipulation is requiring.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yep.
That's excellent. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Mr. Myers?
Thank you, Council. Ms. Almonte?
This requires a public hearing, so Ms. Almonte, this is your time to speak. We have 10 minutes allowed for each side, for or against. So obviously, this is for, I'm sure. Good
Thank
evening.
you for letting me participate on this. My English not that good, but I will try my best.
Move the microphone.
Okay.
There you go. You're fine.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk for all of you, because my English not that good, but I will try my best to explain myself. I like to get a permit for my house because I really dream with build a house. When I bought the lot, I didn't have no experience doing this, so I don't know if I had to go through all this to build a house. And now we have some money sitting there, and I really love Rica because it's coming bigger and it's giving me the opportunity to have a new house next to the hospital. And I think this will give a better look to the community. And I will work with a city to do whatever will be required to be appropriate with a code with a code enforcement to build a house. And I've been working with them almost 8 months already, and I try to go step by step to do what they tell me to do. So that's the only thing I can say. And whatever I need to do to do it by code, I will do it, because I really want to start building my house. That's my dream.
Thank you, ma'am. And your English is very good. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak during this time in favor of this variance? Going once, going twice? All right, we'll reset the clock. Is there anyone that wishes to speak against this proposed variance? Easy enough. We'll revert back to the governing body. Any other questions from staff? Or for staff? Discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, I move to approve the requested variance from section 4.06, minimum lot footage for the property located at 65 McCurdy Road, case number VA-04-25, to reduce the minimum lot frontage from 50 foot to 12.5 feet, subject to the 3 conditions recommended by the staff.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item 2, RA-02-25, Ashley Barnett and East West Express, on behalf of Richard Kanjimi, are requesting a rezoning from commercial low-density C1 to industrial I2.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have a rezoning request from East West Express, represented by President and CEO Mr. Kanjemi, and they're requesting that we rezone the property from commercial low density to industrial medium density. And the purpose of that request is to remove the existing nonconformity and bring the zoning district in alignment with the current industrial use. The site is used currently as a truck freight terminal, and the applicant isn't proposing any development or changes to the business operation,
Oops.
but rather wants to bring the zoning district into conformity with the prevailing use and the use that he intends to maintain at that property for a long time. We have a visual here of the site. 15051 Veterans Memorial Highway is in an industrial corridor between I-20 to the south and Veterans Memorial to the north. It's also separated from lower intensity uses to the north by the railroad. And the businesses in the immediate district are industrial in nature. We have a traffic light contractor and a construction company, some storage uses, some warehouse uses. So the general character of the area is industrial in nature, and the request to rezone is in alignment with the character of the existing area. The applicant did receive a variance in 2021 to allow a 12-acre gravel drive, or rather parking lot area for truck storage and truck parking. The lot that houses the building and the maintenance area and customer parking is paved and developed. We reviewed the request against certain criteria, and the request aligns with the commercial, or rather the commercial corridor intent that's called out in the East Village character area aligns with the industrial activity. As I said, the area is dominated by industrial uses, and the applicant has indicated that he intends to maintain the existing, or rather the current use at the site. We don't anticipate any negative impacts to property values, and as far as responsible growth is concerned, aligning the zoning with the existing use would eliminate any nonconformity at that site. All right. Are there any questions for staff at this time?
Councilman Carter.
Can Mr. Jimmy been appraised of the two conditions that you put on it?
He has. And before I invite him, I'll go over the conditions. We propose to stipulate that the site be limited to a truck freight terminal. Any other industrial uses that would be allowed in our zoning ordinance are not allowed unless the future development map is amended to reflect an industrial future development district. Also, the applicant must comply with all building, fire, life safety, and zoning requirements. The applicant was questioned and is certainly in agreement with the stipulations and expressed himself that he has no intention of changing the use to another use. And just as a quick update, planning and zoning did vote 3-0 to approve and 1 abstain.
Question, Councilman Moptahan.
Sean, so how, could you maybe explain how this came about? I mean, what prompted this? Because it seems like he's operating out there and he's been out there for years, but then something occurred, obviously, to prompt this, seems like, you know?
I'll answer that briefly and defer to the applicant to give you a more detailed answer, but he expressed to staff.
If I may, so the applicant came to us, I want to say, had to be about June or so, to come in. They wanted to do some additional work on the property in the same spirit of the current use, which is the truck terminal. But at that time, you cannot obtain a permit unless zoning is approved and up to date. And going back through all of our zoning map, our zoning history, the property has always had a C1 designation. Very strange, very interesting. So what we've done is to ensure that, you know, the applicant still is able to utilize their property for the current use, that if for whatever reason they either want to sell it or they want to lease it or refinance, banks require a zoning verification to verify and confirm the proper use and zoning of the property. And without this process, the applicant would not be able to do that.
Thank you, Rebecca. One more question. Do we know if there are any stipulations or conditions from whenever it was previously zoned or from the variance that we need to perhaps carry over to this rezoning?
Well, there actually were no items found, no files found for the rezoning.
Okay.
My guess is that this was done of a mass rezoning, because if
Okay.
you go back to the map that shows the zoning, if we can go back for a second, can we go back? It shows it shows you a C1 commercial low density zoning.
Okay.
And there's nothing on Veterans Memorial in the area that is low impact commercial zoning, like a cleaners or a neighborhood coffee shop or a small restaurant. So as we continue to start looking at our zoning map, looking at our future land use, we'll analyze areas like this to determine and bring before city management and to the city council how we need to look at this area in a way where it actually can redevelop according to the interstates that are there, the access, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any other questions from council? The applicant is here, Mr. Kanjemi, correct?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Mr. Kanjemi?
Good evening. My name is Richard Kanjemi. I live at 435 Edge Road, Villa Rica. When I purchased the property back about 10 years ago, I was told it was industrial. I said, okay, great. So I went ahead and started the process of getting permits to build our truck shop and terminal and so on. We went ahead and got permits, and everything was approved by the city, and
Can
everything
you
seemed normal.
move a little closer to
you
that
can't hear me?
mic? I'm getting signaled from the back.
Okay.
They don't want to miss you when they're watching.
Okay, thank you.
There you go, perfect. Thank you.
So back to what I was saying, I thought it was industrial when I bought it, but evidently it wasn't. But I thought it was. So we went ahead and got the necessary permits to build the facility, which we did. It was approved as far as I know, and we built it 3 years ago. It was an ongoing process to build this over the period of 10 years, but we got it done. And we've been operating there about 3 years now. 3 years in August, so here we are. So what my purpose is as so explained earlier, is just at the proper zoning. We should be I-2, which is what we're operating at. And so we're simply asking to update the zoning to what we're using it as at this time.
Any questions for the applicant? We're good. Thank
Well,
you, sir.
I'm sorry. I was waiting for Mr. Carter to ask the question, but I'll just ask the question. Mr. Kanjimi, it was stated that there's some staff has provided these zoning stipulations, and they have said that you're in agreement with those.
Yes.
Stipulations. Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this, I was going to go, rezoning from commercial low density to I-2 industrial? Is there anyone that would like to speak that is opposed to this rezoning? Very good. We'll revert back to the governing body. If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, I move to approve the request to rezone the property located at 15051 Veterans Memorial Highway, case number RA-02-25, from C1 commercial low density to I2 industrial medium density, subject to the two conditions recommended by the staff.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed?
Unanimous.
Thank you. We'll move to item C, Finance. Ms. Long?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Amanda Long, Interim Finance Director. I come to you tonight to ask you to adopt the proposed FY26 budget. We've had 2 public budget workshops and then a public hearing. So we have met all of the requirements. I think that's it.
Here it is, in case you didn't have the pleasure of reading all these pages and going through them. Any questions from council? I only have one small comment, and I already relayed this to Jennifer, because I know y'all tend to be conservative in what you expect to come in. So it's safer, right, even with your home budget? You know, underestimate the revenue coming in, and then if you do better, great. And that is just, I said, when we get any of that extra money coming in, it would be real nice to designate some of that to pedestrian safety in our downtown area. It's been an ongoing request by citizens, of Main Street advisory councils, and multiple people that we make it safer for people to get around downtown. And however we do that, with flashing, you know, strobe things and crosswalks, whatever we can do. If there's no questions, we certainly have hashed over the budget. I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll move to adopt a resolution setting the fiscal year 2026 budget at $56,742,285.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Any opposed?
That is unanimous.
All right, item D, in this case, interim deputy city manager, John Bain.
Good evening. We'd like to provide a project update for Mayor and Council this evening, starting with the stormwater utility study. Staff has met with our consultants, Integrated Science and Engineering, to discuss the preliminary results of the impervious surface delineations, the equivalent residential units, and the rate structure analysis for developing a stormwater utility. The next step is the creation of a stormwater advisory committee to assist elected officials and staff with the evaluation of the city's stormwater management program, with public relations and education tasks scheduled to begin in October. Regarding the sanitation project, Martin and Jenkins emailed a draft feasibility report to the city. Staff met with Martin and Jenkins to discuss the report, and they're refining their data and the assumptions from our previous meeting with them. We spoke earlier about the North Side Downtown Streetscape project. We'll recall that the grant funded was $1.1 million with a $286,000 match. Keck and Wood presented concept and council approved at the August council meeting. We are working on the draft report for the GDOT project manager, and we are scheduling a concept team meeting. We will begin preliminary design, subsurface utility engineering, and railroad coordination. Construction plans have been completed for the Villa Rica Parkway project. Right-of-way and temporary easement acquisitions are underway. A traffic study has been completed on the intersection at Cleghorn Street and Villa Rica Parkway, and it was determined that a traffic signal will be required at that intersection. The grading is nearly complete at Fortune Park. That was a $50,000 grant and a $30,000 developer contribution for that project. Regarding Fortune Parkway, we confirmed the developer's responsibilities will be to complete the road to Anderson Road, to construct deceleration lane on Anderson Road, construct a deceleration lane on Old Stone Road, and construct a left turn lane at Old Stone Road and the realignment at Punkintown Road. Regarding the North Bypass project, Astra Construction is pushing to be completed in September. They do have a time extension through November, and they expect the road will be open sometime in October, pending final signs, marking, grassing, and matting for that project. But we can look for the bypass to be open, I would say sometime mid-October. Falcon Engineering is working on the South Carroll and Reed Road intersection project. They're working to complete the construction drawings, the hydrology study, and the utility coordination and right-of-way construction easement plans. We did receive $270,000 in project improvement fees from a development agreement with the local developer. Regarding Connors Road Park, the current budget was $593,000. Phase 1, which included a driveway, a parking lot, detention pond, and stormwater pipe, came in with a probable cost of 2.4 million. So we're currently reviewing other in-house options for that area. We have attached a few photos of our paving projects. We have Church Street before, during, and after pavement, as well as Temple Street pavement project when complete. Earlier on the consent agenda, we included the West Industrial Court culvert replacement project. We have a few photos of that project attached. Moving on to some in-house projects. We are working on the downtown gym parking expansion, which includes 15 additional spaces. We moved all brush in a large tree. As you can see from the photo, the footings in the wall was poured, and that project should be wrapped up in a few weeks. Also completed the Pine Mountain Train exit bridge. We have some photos during construction, and as well as after construction. You can see how great that bridge looks after completion of that project. The pickleball courts grading project is ongoing. And Signature Courts will start the building of the courts later this month. Did want to give a quick shout out to our building development team, as well as our public works team, who's been doing a great job with these in-house projects. Everyone they complete. Butterballs is a good example. The bridges are a good example. They just look outstanding when complete. Do some great work. We have a few photos included of the Veterans Park. Just for relevance, we can see the grass here where the We Are VR sign is, as well as the additional parking spots and the square footage that is included with those additional spots. Lastly, I want to mention a couple upcoming events. The first being the West Georgia Hispanic Heritage Festival, which is this Saturday, September 13th from 11 to 5 at the Mill Amphitheater, which includes merchandise, food trucks, dancers, entertainment, live music, and a mechanical bull. 2 weeks after that is our 47th annual Villa Rica Gold Rush Festival, which includes a 5K race, a parade, craft vendors, a kids zone, food trucks, musicians, entertainment, and a concert that evening, including 7 Sharp 9, Lilac Wine, and Driving and Crying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bain. There's a lot of good stuff in here, but I have to say, for the people that have been around a lot of years, including those that predate me, having that bypass, seeing that that's going to be done this year within months, maybe a month, and open by October, is a really big deal for Villa Rica. Decades in the, I don't know how many years back when it first was imagined, but the planning has gone on for decades to do this. And to have that bypass, it's going to transform the downtown too, because this street becomes ours up here, and we can do those streetscapes that we planned. May take time, and it takes a lot of money, but we're getting there. So thank you for giving such a good report. We're going to,
One
yes.
question. On the North Bypass, they have a proposed opening date. Have they even set a date yet? A grand opening?
No, I don't think we have it narrowed down to the date, but I think we have it down to
October, I think.
Yes, they have the extension through November, so they may have take until November, but we fully expect it to be open. Right now, it's looking like, my guess is another 4 weeks or so, but October.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Drummond, at this time, we're going to be moving into executive session. Will you state the purpose for executive session, please?
Yes, I'll need a motion to enter into executive session to discuss entering into a contract to purchase, dispose of, or lease property subject to approval in a subsequent public vote as provided in OCGA 50-14-3B1D.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion and a double second over here. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Motion, back into regular session.
Second?
We have a motion and a second.
All in favor?
Oh, we got everybody. All in favor? Nobody opposed. Mr. Drummond.
All right. We had an executive session for the purposes that I discussed before going into executive session. We had discussions. We took no official action during the executive session, but I believe we do have a motion at this point.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the contract to purchase parcels V0501500023 and V0501500095.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Any other business?
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?